Hi, everyone. I'm glad to see so many familiar names joining us on our webinar today. I'm Christina Rudolph. I am really glad that everyone was able to join us here at ShoWorks. We are really excited about how our ShoWorks auction module has transpired this season. We have gone from a completely virtual offering in May where everything was very systematic and virtually closing to a beautiful hybrid of a solution that we're excited to share with you all of the changes that have taken place. I see some of you have actually already held auctions with us, those of you that are joining. We've enhanced our system in ways that really took what feedback we got from the fairs that we interacted with this year and tried to incorporate that into some of the enhancements we made to really get ready for January, February, and anybody coming up with auctions, especially during this time. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Christina Rudolph, and I oversee the auction platform for ShoWorks. It's an exciting position to be in, exciting because we're always getting to talk to each of you and build out a solution that's truly helping and aiding everyone. This first page has a URL at the very bottom. If you are able to multitask, you're welcome to go to fairsoftware.com/auction. It's going to bring you to our auction designated page, which will show some testimonials, some sample fairs that we've already held. So you can see how they've set up their auction, and I'll also have a demo site that I'm going to demo here in a bit, and y'all are welcome to join in and make it a little interactive as we go through that. So far since May, we've been really excited. While ShoWorks has been supporting auctions for 25 years in the industry, this year pushed us, and as well as everyone, trying to come up with solutions to allow for non-present bidding, bidding that kind of put it into the buyer's hands of whether they could be in person or not. Some of us were restricted based on our community guidelines of how together we could all come during those sales, and so we were kind of forced to move ahead and really explore what can we do for the auction industry. Just since May, we've processed more than $135 million in bids. We've hosted more Junior Livestock Show auctions across North America than any other of our competitors, and it's truly been a joy for our team to really dive into the background that we have and the history with auctions and bring that forward to enable solutions for individuals such as yourselves. We have been able to produce a solution that's unique compared to any other solution out there. We have the ability to set up a 100% virtual auction, which is closed systematically based on the way that the fair or auction decides to configure. And then we also have a hybrid version where we can support a completely live auction as well as a combined live and virtual auction. It really is truly unique. There's a lot of value to having non-present bidding available, giving those buyers the choice of whether they want to appear in person from home, whether they're on vacation, or even walking the grounds at the actual fair. We've noticed that 23% of people viewing auctions are from out of state, which this is expanding the ability for exhibitors to be supported by funds from outside of your community. I'm going to show you a little bit later how our spotter tool, which is unique to ShoWorks Auction, on the back end, we use it by clerks sitting on the auction block, working with the live auctioneer in order to place bids from the floor and interact with online bids. The majority of our most recent sales have actually been blending online and live auctioneers, and we're seeing that 40% of the bids are originating from online. This is kind of an important ratio. It shows that there is so much validity. We don't want to ever lose the sense of the sights and sounds and smells and feel of that live auction and those individuals that are able to participate. But it also demonstrates that 40% of those bids coming from online means that there are individuals that are able and willing to help drive up those prices to benefit the exhibitors and your auction itself. They can do so from afar. Maximizing the return for the exhibitors and fairs is always top of mind for ShoWorks. As soon as the sale order is set, the sale can be made available in ShoWorks auction and made available for pre-bidding. During that pre-bidding time, buyers can register and go ahead and familiarize themselves with the lots that are up for bid. They can start bidding, and they can even go in and place a max bid on their lots. We've noticed that 1 in 10 bids are automatically increased due to max proxy bidding. So this becomes a very critical part of an online auction. In various parts of North America, add-ons are a way to top off an exhibitor at a determined amount by a buyer. It's simply a donation that goes passed on to that exhibitor. There's nothing that that buyer receives. This is a feature that is standard across all of our auctions. The average time that add-ons are left open is a week following the close of a sale. You can close your sale and then leave open add-ons for whatever time period that you decide. An average of 23% of total auction revenue can be contributed to add-ons. In some cases, fairs are utilizing the auction site only to do add-ons. We've had quite a few add-on only auctions, if that's something that you wanted to consider. And then finally, everyone knows that the real work starts for your staff when the sale finishes. Sales transactions need to be compiled for exhibitor payout and buyer billing. ShoWorks Auction is the only auction site that allows for a direct sync into ShoWorks. So that is one of the things that if you're already a ShoWorks customer, it's a huge benefit to have that data captured real time and then flowing directly over into ShoWorks at the push of a button. We're excited based on our feedback from auctions. We received 4.3 out of 5 stars from all of our auctions this year. So that's something that we're very grateful for, and a testament to the work that we're doing and the work that's being done out at all of the fairs. ShoWorks is very simple. The auction is a simple extension of the entire suite. Initially, you have step 1, entries have to be entered using ShoWorks online entries. Then exhibitors can load the photos themselves in the online entries module. You go through and you create the sale order, same as you have in the past if you're already a ShoWorks user. And then at the touch of a button, you can load the auction and have everything configured up and running within minutes. Here's a small example of what it looks like within ShoWorks. We provision an auction after the sale order's been created. And at that point, it pushes over into the auction site. And then this is importing the auction file back after the auction's completed. You simply import and it comes directly back into ShoWorks, ready for you to continue doing any billing payouts. There's a lot that has been incorporated into ShoWorks Auction. We've scanned the industry and truly tried to put ourselves at the top to try and make sure that we're addressing all those things that are truly necessary for a junior livestock show and auction. And then we have the ability to be configured for a ton of various other auctions as well. The fact that we have truly integrated live and online bidding is something that helps us to stand out. I'm going to demonstrate the spotter tool in a little bit to show you exactly how that works. We have photos and videos of lots that are able to be loaded by the exhibitors. You can load 3 photos as well as have those videos, which is something that really helps us stand out. We have the ability for live streaming. We recommend that if you are truly live streaming with a live auctioneer, that you utilize Zoom. You have the ability to embed that Zoom link directly into the auction site so that you only have to give one URL, one place for buyers to go, or anybody who just wants to watch your auction. And so that live stream capability makes it very simple for everyone to hear it and know exactly what's going on. The phone down here on the bottom right-hand corner shows a picture of an outbid notification. If a buyer is bidding on a specific lot, they're going to get notified every single time they get outbid. And in that case, there's a direct link that lets them click and go to that lot to place that next bid. This means whether they got up and moved around and they're walking around the fairgrounds or they're sitting at home, they got that notification directly to their phone and they are able to make sure that it didn't slip away. I mentioned add-ons earlier, as well as the max proxy bidding. Those are 2 huge benefits to having an online platform and utilizing an online platform. Typical to most auctions, we do have reserve pricing and bid increments that can be set. They can be set by lot, they can be set by division. It's up to you exactly how those things get set. In the case that you wanted to do a completely systematic closing, that means the computer is going to be configured and the software is going to be configured for you to be closed based on times that you have set up. We have the ability for a cascading closing, lots that can close a minute and a half apart, and then based on timings that you set up, we have the ability to throw auto extensions into the configuration to ensure that if there's a competition or there's 2 buyers bidding after one lot, that we get the maximum price with that extension process in there. Something that we introduced in the August-September timeframe is by the pound bidding. We have been asked many times, and it just took us a little bit of time to get that in place, but now you can designate by the head or by the pound bidding per lot or per division. That has been a huge win, especially in this industry. Buyer destination designation, huge when you are looking to know exactly where that buyer wants to send that animal. That is designated at the time that they place their bids, so that gets captured real time. And then finally, the data integration with ShoWorks, which I demonstrated to you the buttons that will be utilized for that data to flow back and forth. Now I'm going to take a moment and I am going to demonstrate the actual auction for you. Let's see. Just want to make sure I'm still sharing appropriately. This URL is out there for y'all to use, share with board members, anyone that you want to take a look. I'm going to go ahead and jump into this demo auction. This auction, should you desire, you are welcome to go ahead and log in as a buyer. You can follow me as I'm doing this. Log in as yourself. You are not held to any of the bids that you might be placing because this is truly sample data. Initially, this link is available to anyone. If you are not going to be buying, you are able to peruse the site and look and see everything that is up for sale at that point. You can click and look at any of the particular lots, look at the pictures, share on Facebook, and at the point that you want to make a bid, it is going to ask you to log in. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go to the top right-hand corner and click log in. The very initial thing is new buyers can register here. Some of you already have buyer lists. If that is the case, that is something that we can talk through. That can be brought directly over from ShoWorks if you have that list in ShoWorks. One of the things that we do on the auction site is we use two-factor authentication, utilizing people's mobile phone numbers for a security code to be text to it. So that is one thing that if you don't already have people's mobile numbers, you may want to consider letting them go ahead and register. I'm going to go ahead and put information in here. I already had it pre-populated, but putting my name, Christina Rudolph, my address, and zip, my email address, and my phone number. Once you hit register, oh, I'm already taken. Let me do that again. Once you hit register, it takes you back to this login screen. The buyer then goes through and selects their name. And at the time they request that choose your name, you're going to request security code. And at that point, a text comes through to the phone number that was entered. And I just got a text and it says my security code is 4051. So I'm going to enter 4051 and sign in. Now that I've signed in, it's going to show a yellow banner across the top. It tells me how many lots I have won, how many open bids that I have, and how many add-ons that I have placed. Let me go ahead and take a look at Krista Cummings. Any of you are welcome to jump in if you've already registered and make a bid. I'm going to take a look at this. At the time that I go to make a bid, I need to choose my destination. These destinations are specified and configured by your fair. The next incremental amount is what shows up here, and if I use the up and down arrows, it will take me to the next incremental amounts that have been set. If I would like to put a max bid, which I will go ahead and do for the sake of demonstration, I can place my max bid in and select bid. Oh, somebody is bidding against me out there, which is fine. This just makes me want to bid more. Oh, I've already been outbid. So what happened here is this individual I am betting has gone and put a max bid out there. So when I'm placing my bid, it's jumping his amount up based on the increment over what I last placed. I'm going to see if I can't get over him. Let's see. If I can get $640. Oh my goodness. James Hubbard is out there and there's no telling what he has bid for this animal. Okay, I finally got this goat at $1,200. Oh, thank goodness. So I am going to jump back and look, and you can see in green, I am the current winning bidder here. James Hubbard is out there bidding away. Whenever I do get outbid, I will get that text message. So I'll be waiting for that to see if I get outbid. In this screen, oh, you can see my open bids. It updated at the top. I've got $1,200 in open bids. I'm going to go ahead and jump in over here on Lance Bush, and I'm going to do an add-on so that you can see what that looks like. I'm going to do an add-on of $100. The amounts of add-ons, the increments of add-ons can be configured by your fair, or you can leave it open for anyone to place. When I do that add-on, it lists my name as an add-on contributor, and the amount gets totaled into the add-ons total for this lot. Go back. On the right-hand side, you will see the pop-out video feed. This is an old auction that I have the feed just thrown in there. You control exactly which URL to put in there. If it is your Zoom link, your Zoom will appear there. You have the ability to pop it out and watch there. And I do have my volume turned low, but that's what that looks like. In order to embed it, I just click embed and it pops right back in. This screen, oh, I did get outbid. Sorry, I wasn't looking at my phone. Angela White is out there outbidding me. In the top left-hand corner, you are going to see a filter button. This button can become your friend and a friend of all buyers. You have the ability to sort and filter based on divisions that have been set up, clubs that have been set up, looking for an exact exhibitor name. With any of these, you can just start typing a portion of the name and it scrolls down, and then you click apply filter and that individual and applicable individual will show up. The filters can then be erased and go back. Sometimes buyers want to watch the animals that they are bidding on. You can always show open lots that I've bid on first, and that is going to pull all the lots that you've bid on to the very front. So for instance, if I go ahead and bid on this lot, based on the fact that I have that filter on, it's going to move Ronald to the front so that I could just see, I know that I'm watching these two, Krista Cummings and Ronald Owensley. You can always go back and clear your filters. On this screen, if you scroll down to the very bottom, you can also see a couple of examples of a donation lot as well as a presenting sponsor lot. Some of our fairs have sold sponsorship spots and wanted to make sure that they honored them throughout the virtual sale. Basically, you load these individuals or these sponsors or donation lots as a lot within your sale order and then have them appear. In this case, a donation lot, we've set it up so that it's not up for bid. You can only do add-ons and people can make donations directly to this amount. So donating to the Don Diego Scholarship Fund there. You can see how much has been add on there. And then for presenting sponsors, it's truly just for looks. So giving that honor to those sponsors that are making this all possible. I'm going to jump now to the back side, the admin side of ShoWorks auction. It is different from ShoWorks itself. It is web-based, and because it is web-based, you are able to have multiple individuals logging in at the same time, clerking your sale need be. Sometimes it's helpful just to have another watchful eye taking a peek. And give me a moment while I split my screen just to do a little demonstration here. Within the auction admin, there are quite a few tabs that are pertinent to what you might need in the moment. There's a winners tab, which keeps a running total of all the bids that have been placed, all the add-ons, and the grand total. It also demonstrates and shows which buyers are purchasing which lots and for which amounts. There is the announcement tab. This announcement tab is a rolling list of what is being done in the moment. So as I'm looking at what's been happening just since, since we jumped on this site, I can tell every buyer and what they're doing in order to take part in this auction, whether it be bidding on a lot or bidding on an animal, or doing add-ons. Let's see, lot destinations. Once we have actually closed lots, this will be a list if you have loadout occurring immediately following your sale. All of the sold items and where they're supposed to go to based on buyer designation can be exported to Excel for that report. And this is all of the auction entries where the schedule is set for them, the bid type of whether or not they're by the head or by the pound, bid increments, minimum bids, that all occurs on this screen. We have the destinations that can be designated, the listing of all of the registered buyers and their buyer numbers, the bids that are being placed. In this case, it's very interesting. I can actually see on the back end, so going up against lot 1003 for John McGee, Vicki Spence, she placed a bid here at 321, and the reason you were outbid was because there's a max bid out there by James Hubbard at an amount higher than you. So the amount that this went up was based on the increment set for that lot, and this gives the tracking history so that you know exactly what happened with that lot that was bid on. A running list of add-ons, and notice that any of these could be exported at any point so that you'd have a list that you could print or manipulate using Excel. And images and videos. When pictures are loaded, and sometimes there are actually changes to the changes that might occur to the pictures, or you might have had a mismatch, siblings mixed their pictures up and did it on the wrong one, it needs to be corrected. Not a problem. They just need to be reloaded into Fair Vault, which is where they originally were loaded, and then you click reload all, and all of those photos come over in a matter of seconds. If there's a specific image for a specific lot, you can enter that lot and it'll reload just that one. Now to the piece that I'm excited to show you is the spotter tool. So the spotter tool is exactly what we need to utilize in the case that you have a live auctioneer closing your auction. This is really popular. A lot of auctions don't want to lose the feel or the timing that that live auctioneer brings to the actual auction. We have seen people use a live auctioneer with no bidders present, meaning the live auctioneer sat in front of the Zoom and called the auction based on what was occurring online. And we've seen live auctioneers in person with a handful of bidders that are actually, with a number of buyers that are actually out there and in the audience. And it's a beautiful choreographed dance out there on that auction block, the way things are working. So there's 3 key roles that I do want to mention if you are going with that, having some buyers that are present with that live auctioneer. One is your live auctioneer. Your live auctioneer, all of our auctioneers nowadays are becoming familiar with this concept of online auctions, and they know that they may need to slow down a little bit to allow for individuals who are bidding online, or they need to actually recognize online bidders and incorporate them into the cadence of the auction. Your live auctioneer has always played a key part, and they still do today. The second role is your online spotter. I call it an online spotter because they are literally looking at the online sale, which is here, and every time someone bids for the lot that is up for bid based on the auctioneer calling it, if someone bids online, they're going to raise the paddle and yell out specifically to acknowledge that online bidder. The reason for this is that your auctioneer is going to sit and have them in front of him so he knows to call on them. This makes it very simple for your auctioneer. Your auctioneer doesn't have to look at online at all. They can just sit there and call that, we've got an online bid for $350, and then continue forward. So that is nice. The third key role is the individual who is going to basically sit on the auction block next to your auctioneer and record any live floor bids directly into the system. For instance, in this case, we have lot number 1001 that is up for bid. There is a buyer number, and I know this because it's listed in my buyer table, that represents the live floor bidder. It could be a number of individuals that are out there, and for ease, we're just going to enter, we know that we got a bid from the floor. In the case that the floor is recognized for a bid of, let's say, $2,200, your clerk is going to enter the amount and click bid. Here you can see that the high bid is now $2,200 to the floor. Your auctioneer is probably recognizing this person by name if he knows them, by paddle number, things like that. And what this did is it actually triggered online for everyone online to see that the floor bidder now has this for $2,200. The person before that should have gotten an outbid notification, and they're going to log right back in if they're not watching it live and place a bid. If there's not any more bids going forward, or we have another one, let's say, another bid comes up from the floor for $2,400, go ahead and capture that. At the point that the auctioneer says sold, this lot will be marked as sold. Okay, well, what happens now is that winner has been recorded as sold. We'll go back. This immediately jumps to the next one just to keep up with the cadence of the auction. However, you easily go back to the next, to the previous lot, enter that lot number, and then you're going to put the name of the actual person that, or the number of the actual person that won this. Taylor Collins, I'm doing a shout out to you. You're active in this auction, and I'm going to go ahead and say, basically, you were the one that won this. Congratulations from the floor. Enter your buyer number, and I'm going to replace the buyer, and it changes the name to the correct person. If for some reason Taylor came back and said, I didn't want custom Nettles pig, I need to change that destination, we go forth and we do that right there. Then we move to the next one, and we are ready to go ahead and have the auctioneer place bids, take the next bids for the next one. We provide training for your clerks that are going to be doing this. Usually we see auctions within those first one or two. They're trying to just get the cadence down with the auctioneer, get that rhythm down. And but we see it run very smoothly. 4 or 5 hour auctions with 300 lots have run smoothly with this method, and we're excited to be able to offer this. So this is one of our key things. At this point, I am going to jump over, let's see, I talked to you all about the spotter tool, and truly I have tons of questions coming in. I'm going to go ahead and jump to that. If for some reason we don't hit all of your questions, you can email us at info@showworkscloud.com. That gets our auction team. We are ready and able to answer any questions that you might have or special scenarios that you might have. But let's see. What happens if I have a question from an attendee. What happens if in the middle of the auction, you reach a number limit on the quantity of animals allowed at a specific processing plant? We actually get this quite a bit. In that case, what you would do is you can go modify the destination in that moment to say do not choose, but we actually have an enhancement coming and I'm hoping it's in January, but this is high on our list to fix so that we are able to actually let you put a limit in the system for how many times that processing plant can be chosen, and that is coming soon. But in the meantime, we do have workarounds where you would go in and say, do not choose this particular processing plant, so people know not to choose it going forward. Let's see. There's another processing plant question. Oh, yes. What happens if you have multiple buyers on a lot? At this point in time, what happens is when you go, you would have a group. So let's say it's a designated group that knows that they're going to be bidding on behalf of 2 or 3 individuals. They have the choice to create their buyer name to include those names, should they desire, or designate it as something, or that group is going to choose one individual to place the bids on their behalf. What happens is they're going to select that this is a split bid between more than one buyer, and then go ahead and place that bid. It is up to those individuals to know that one person is placing their bids. When they place that bid and this is marked sold, which it will show up on the winners tab that this is a split bid, and that is an indicator to your staff that you need to contact these individuals to identify exactly how that split is going to be made. So that way that can get recorded appropriately. And that today gets recorded back in ShoWorks after those sales transactions have come back across. I hope that answers your question. We do get split bid questions quite a bit. I have one fair, New Mexico, Southern New Mexico State. They have quite a few individuals that do their do split bidding, and they force people to fill out a form ahead of time so they know exactly who falls under which group when that buyer wins it, and they ensure that their MC has that information to call it out for recognition if recognition is something that you are looking at. Okay, oh, a question about cost. So ShoWorks auction is a flat 1% of gross revenue brought in through the auction site. So what we do is we take the amount that is, we take the amount for your total sales as well as your add-ons, and we invoice after the sale 1% of that. If you are already a ShoWorks customer and you are pushing and processing your buyer transactions through ShoWorks, then ShoWorks waives the transaction fee associated with those because you use the auction. So we definitely don't double dip on any side. We try to do as much as we can to enable this to be just a solid solution for your auctions. So there's that answered. What is available to present for board approval? We have, I will make this available, this recording available to you after this if you would like to utilize this webinar as a replay. The fairsoftware.com/auction is available all the time if you want to share with individuals. And then if you have specific questions, feel free to always reach out. Our team is happy to field your questions. We also have a support site, a knowledge base that we've compiled. At the top of the auction page in the top right, there is a support button that will allow you to, if you have very specific questions, we might have an answer already sitting out there for you. Can photos and videos be uploaded by exhibitors after the show has closed entries? Yes, they can. When do the buyers pay their bills? Can we bill them out 30 days? One thing that we do at this point in time is we conduct the auction outside of ShoWorks, and then you import all of the sales transactions and the buyer information back into ShoWorks. At that point, excuse me, at that point, what you're going to do is you are going to run your billing, create your bills, and send out your invoices in the same way that you have done in the past. Some people have different ways that they incorporate, handle that billing. Some are doing it outside of ShoWorks, but all of that is available to do just as you have in the past. And if you have a specific question about your specific process, we're happy to walk that through with you. What kind of licensing do you need from Zoom? This is a great question. We have had some fairs set up a straight up Zoom meeting, and that is possible for you to do depending on the size of your fair. That is an option. Just know that there is a difference between a Zoom meeting and a Zoom webinar. Today, we are talking on a Zoom webinar. It is a one-way feed. So I'm able to talk to y'all, and y'all are able to message back to us. What this means is that for the audience out there, they're not able to unmute themselves and share their opinions and share their video to the masses. And that tends to be the way that most fairs tend to operate and want to operate, to kind of limit any things that might happen in that live moment. So you can you can go through Zoom, you grab a webinar subscription and hold your fair, and you can cancel as soon as that's over. So you'll have to pay for 1 month, and then you cancel it, and then you're good. Good question. If you are doing a hybrid, are you just taking the 1% from the online bids? No, we are taking 1% from the gross revenue. And the reason for that is the online, the fact that, one, we're hosting and it costs just to host the entire site and have it up and running. Two, those online bids are driving your revenue up. And so whether that online bid wins or not, it was a key part of the benefits of your auction. Let's see. Still on the topic of costs, what about credit card costs? We are actually, if you do your processing through ShoWorks, PayPal is the gateway. Those are, what we do is we completely pass on those credit card charges to you. There are fairs that choose to put a percentage fee or processing fee to their buyers so that it gets passed on, but that credit card cost is negotiated through PayPal the same way. I do know that if you utilize us and process through ShoWorks, we've been able to negotiate a lower rate than what you might be able to get in your fair because we handle so many. Hopefully that answers, is the 1% paid by the buyer or absorbed by the auction host? That's truly up to your, that is truly up to your auction and how you want to do it. Some auctions will use a way to pass along a fee to everybody. That's up to you. Let's see. How many overall computers would you need to run a 150 lot auction? Is there an option to preview the management tools? So honestly, it's the number of computers is going to be based on how you want to set up your process and the individuals that you have in each role. If you are doing, it's not necessarily based on how many lots that are going to be processed, but more so about who is in what roles and what computer will they need. If you're working specifically just in the auction site, someone can just bring their laptop computer, make sure you have internet connection, and then utilize the URL from the back end for the admin sites, and that would be able to be taken care of. Let's see. This question, do we need ShoWorks software to host the auction? Yes, you actually do. You do actually have to have ShoWorks 2020. So if you haven't upgraded to 2020 already, then that would be required. And then in order to get the photos and the videos in play, you do need a subscription to FairVault. And if you're interested in more information on FairVault, at the time that you put the wheels in motion on doing your online entries, you will request an online session, and there is a spot for you to check that you are interested in the auction and you're interested in FairVault. Y'all have really good questions. Y'all are covering so much. If we don't, okay, Nikki Brown out there, we don't have one buyer winner. So would all our buyers be considered add-ons, even through the live auction? We have a couple of various scenarios that we could probably talk through one-on-one. I know that there are situations where there's actual bidding in a premium sale. There is bidding of buyers against each other, and there is an actual winner, and the winner is the one that is giving that money. We are actually working, and if you have this scenario, I'd love to talk to you offline, where you would have individuals who are buying, but really they're just each contributing to the lot and to the exhibitor. And if that is the case, the short end solution is yes, you would use that add-on button. But I would love to talk to you more about what you've done in the past and make sure that we capture exactly what you're trying to accomplish. What if a buyer does not follow through to purchase based on a final bid? Are we still charge the 1% for those failed sales? Unfortunately, yes. There is a place for you to configure and type your terms and conditions that a buyer would have to check that checkbox prior to logging in. This would hopefully hold them accountable to the fact that they place those bids. Otherwise, yeah, that is completely up to your auction and how y'all have handled those in the past. I think I've already answered this, but I'm just going to double check. Can we charge a convenience fee for the credit card? Yes, you can set up a fee within ShoWorks to handle that. How much bandwidth is needed to run this? Oh, I knew there was going to be a technical question out there. What we recommend is that if there is a way for you to run a landline directly to your computer that is doing Zoom, that is the most key important piece if you're in a live setting. Otherwise, just the best internet that you could have possible, the best bandwidth is going to be the best that you can do. We've seen some fairs even choose to relocate and actually hold their private auction or set up in a room at their local school because they know they have better internet. But whatever you can do just to increase that bandwidth, because it is online, and as quickly as the bids can get placed, that's how quickly you can have that competition going. Knowing that in some spaces in communities, great high-speed internet is not necessarily readily available. And knowing that when you're setting up and configuring your auction and talking to your live auctioneer, there does need to be some sort of discussion and maybe guidelines set about how long do we wait before closing an item, just to give the benefit of the doubt that someone might be trying to place a bid and might have a bad internet connection. Does backend URL require ShoWorks license? So no, for our ShoWorks auction, when you are working in the auction, you do not need ShoWorks installed on that computer. Are the awards earned from a previous market show automatically added to the profile for each lot? Will the win photos be able to be added on the day of the show? Okay, so let me address the first one. The awards earned from a previous market show, that is based on how you have fed that information in from ShoWorks. So if you're not already having that fed in to your ShoWorks database, then it won't pull over to the auction. And then will the win photos be able to be added day of show? Yes. Calhoun, Texas did an amazing job of turning around their photos. They're actually on this website, and they had a professional photographer as those kids came out of the ring, immediately taking those photos and uploading it. And that it was a time crunch, I will say that, because they were doing every single one of their lots, but they were ready for it, and they had staffed up to be able to handle anything that might go awry before the sale went live. All that to say, that was a really extreme, awesome example of getting those photos in there. But yes, you can add those photos and utilize that images tool just to bring those photos directly over. Is there a cost for Fair Vault? Yes, there is. Spencer is in charge of Fair Vault, and it typically, I don't have the exact pricing, but you could budget around $250, but there is some element of pennies per picture that is loaded, or pennies per lot, and he can give those details. But if you were just trying to look for a rough estimate, for right now, $250, but we can get you in touch with Spencer. We'll share that information out. Actually, Miranda, you might be able to throw that in the chat, Spencer's information, so that y'all can contact Spencer, and he can give you all the details specific to your fair, the number of lots you anticipate, and it would be more meaningful there. Are transactions made through this program, and do we get a percentage of this profit? So transactions are not made through the auction platform. transactions are done in ShoWorks, should you choose to utilize the transactions and online transactions through ShoWorks. Some people choose to do that. Some people choose to do it outside of ShoWorks in their own platforms like QuickBooks or things like that. So no, we don't take a percentage of the transaction fees or anything like that. We try to just keep it simple at the 1%, and then any transaction costs are yours depending on how what banks you end up using. So Amex, you know, and Visa, whatever they charge based on whatever gateway you're utilizing. So thank you for that. Well, we are nearing, let's see. We're nearing 4 o'clock. A lot of you still out there. There's another question. I will continue to take questions until 4, or even longer should you desire to stay on. But I will say thank you so much for attending and for making this so interactive. The questions that you ask help us to know what direction we need to be going in the future. So I do appreciate that. This last question, it looks like it may mean something. What is the lead time to run an online auction? This question, it's really up to you. So if you're utilizing ShoWorks, you're getting your data in there, you are going to set your sale order. From the time you set your sale order and you have those pictures loaded, then honestly, to actually go live, it would take anywhere from 15 minutes to an hour to get that up and running. I suggest to give yourself half a day so that you can look at your auction, make sure the site looks the way you want to feel comfortable with it. As far as working with our team, myself, Miranda and Chris are on the chat right now. We have a passion for helping you to be successful. And if you are wondering whether or not you should pull the trigger or not on engaging us on your online auction, let me tell you, the sooner the better. If you are 3 months out or within 3 months out, I hope that you will reach out to us and at least get the wheels in motion. A lot of what we want to provide to you and that we have to provide to you is an auction playbook that takes you play by play, everything that you are wanting to make sure that you get in place. A lot of that has to do with communication. In most of your communities, the idea of a livestock show and sale being online is a little different. So there's a lot of communication that's going to have to be done. The concepts are still there, but there's some new things that your exhibitors are going to have to experience. There's some new things that your buyers are going to have to do, and starting to communicate early that you want them to be involved and this is a solution to help them to be involved is really key. So a lot of what we try to do is equip you with the right information so that you can start communicating across your community about how things are going to happen so that they're not surprised on the day of the sale that things are different. So we encourage you, reach out to us and let us know if there's any way we can start engaging you, engaging your boards to kind of get ahead of the curve here. Does it list add-on amounts? Thank you, Kim. Does it list add-on amounts individually or is that hidden to the public? The add-on amounts are, at this point, they are a total aggregate and the names of the individuals are listed individually. So we don't currently have it listed with the actual buyer and the amount that that person's done. On the flip side, we often also get questions about, well, our buyers don't want their names listed. That can occur during training, allowing your buyer at the point, let them know that at the point that they are registering as a buyer, the buyer name is what is going to appear on the auction site. So I've seen some buyers put their buyer name as anonymous or their initials, and then the contact name is their actual name. So there are ways to get around that if you are trying to keep some anonymity in that process. Yes, Jody, thanks for this question. The question is, did you say we just provide one URL for buyers so they can access the online sale and the Zoom connection all at once? Yes. Keep it simple for your buyers, and you will offer them up the one URL. We encourage you heavily. Best practice is on your webpage or wherever everybody is going to go to for information, for you to create a button that says buyers click here, here's the auction, or whatever you want it to say, and then you control the URL to that button. So if you have Calhoun County sale.com, and everyone knows to go to calhoun.sale.com, then you want that button on there. That way you can control exactly which link that they're clicking on. If you were to give out the actual URL that is not native to your fair, we've seen some people run into problems if, for instance, the URL had to change. It's how many people did we give the wrong URL out to? How do we redirect people? So we encourage you have your own landing page on your website, and you will adjust your button accordingly with the URL that you're given from us. All right, I think we're good to wrap up. I will hang tight if there's more questions in the chat that come across. And there's been some questions answered in that chat. If you want to look specifically about Fair Vault, Spencer's here chiming in. And if you have specific questions, please feel free to reach out, info@showworkscloud.com, or reply to the email that you got your invitation from. So thank you all for joining us, and I hope you have a wonderful day.